Good morning, bonjour, Setlisi. Good morning. Welcome to the Red Table on Radio Caribbean International, the Caribbean Sound. I am your host, Ika Fergus. Thank you for keeping it locked in. The Red Table is a talk show which was created as an avenue for the SLP candidates, that is the St. Lucia Labour Party candidates, to have a one-on-one session where they can discuss their role and agenda in the St. Lucia Labour Party and the upcoming election. The show is on from Monday to Friday at 7:40 to 8 a.m. and will run up to the final days before December 1st. And of course, thank you so much for keeping it locked in. My guest today is Minister Kenson Kazimi, who is the Minister of Youth Development and Sports and the Parliamentary Representative for Grosely. Famously known as Baby the Boss of the North. So he will be joining our live stream. And of course, he will be answering a few questions and letting us know what the atmosphere is like for Grosely. Okay, so let's begin. Let's see whether we have Minister Kazimi on the line. Good morning.
Hi, good morning, Ika. How are you?
Good, wonderful. You are loud and clear on Radio Caribbean International at the Red Table. Well, you're not here with us physically, but you're here virtually, so we appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. The only issue I'm having is of calls, which is interrupting the internet. I'm trying to put it on Do Not Disturb.
Okay.
Um, I'm also driving because we have a packed day ahead. There's a lot
Well,
of stuff going on in
we'll need you
Groseland.
to pull over. We'll need you to pull over for just a bit.
Yeah.
Mhm. Okay, so you let me know when you're ready.
Well, I'm ready. I mean, I can
Okay.
drive and talk. I'm.
Okay. All right. So, okay.
Yeah.
So your question, we start off as with what is the overall feeling for the upcoming election as you have soaked in and have participated in the various activities, made your platform speeches. Describe the atmosphere in Grosely at this time.
The mood. The mood is red.
Mm-hmm.
The mood is definitely red. If you're asking for atmosphere, you know the mood is red. I mean, my voice could tell you that the mood is red. We've been shouting it from the mountaintops everywhere. I mean, people have understood that this nation is headed in a direction that is never before, a direction of prosperity, continued development and growth, unemployment, youth unemployment at the lowest it's ever been in this country's history. We see a burgeoning construction sector every nook and cranny. You see houses being built, hotels being built. You see the development of infrastructure all throughout St. Lucia in terms of roads, in terms of sporting facilities. And it's not just the physical infrastructure, the actual mental infrastructure of our nation is being built with a one laptop pro, with child program, one university graduate. Program, $500 awarded to every single child attending secondary school, four CXCs being paid, and now we're moving in the direction of pay. So I think the mood is definitely red. The entire nation is ready. You could feel the momentum. It's palpable. Everywhere you go, every corner of St. Lucia, people are telling you this government has done well.
Okay. So during your tenure, Can you tell us of, the biggest achievements? I know you listed quite a few, and I know there are some hidden that we might not know about. But can you tell us of your greatest achievements as far as, being in charge of youth development and sports, and then what has happened within the Grosley constituency?
Okay, I think for me, I think it's okay to develop the physical infrastructure, but I think what we've done in Grosley, I speak to my constituency, in terms of human resource development is unparalleled. I came in as parliamentary rep for Grosley, and something as simple as a library for the next generation of young people to develop their mental skills and acuity to actually develop into well-rounded individuals was not established in Grosley. We had one before, but it was for 3 years, and that was before COVID, and that was one of the when you go to the library or you're in and around the library, you see the young minds going in to read. As a former teacher, those things, it's are some of the things that are unsaid most times that you feel very good about, very, very good about. Our physical infrastructure is okay. In young minds, you feel like you're heading in the right direction. And then, of course, the Grosley Polyclinic expansion. We all know the figures. We know for a fact that Grosley is the country functioning in a country population on a weekend well into 50,000 people being in the constituency, whether it's for entertainment, whether it's visitors and constituents. And just to have a polyclinic that pretty much functioned as a health center, it really just didn't do it for me. And so the expansion of the Grosley Polyclinic is something I think that is absolutely wealth of a nation is a wealth of a nation. And so ensuring that we get that done is something that I felt was needed. And then the security of our people, very important. Again, not roads, not just all these sort of Northern Divisional headquarter, the envy of the rest of the region. I mean, for police, I mean, equipped with courts for recreation, for the police, and of course the judicial system in there in terms of a court, but proper hotels. I mean, proper areas for them to rest and recuperate. I think Grosley, with this huge population, deserved having that, and so our police officers will be very, very, very comforted when this project is finally done. I mean, a recreational facility for our young people as well. Pigeon Island is another achievement that I think I am proud of, and I will continue to be proud of long into my older age. I mean, we really needed a place for all these, little children in Grosley to congregate and have some fun. So these are some of my major achievements as a parliamentary rep. I will always say the monetization of sports through a youth economy is my biggest achievement so far. And I say so far because we will get a second term to continue this work. I played football, cricket, volleyball, and track and field at a national level for my country, and never once was I compensated for my talents. Um, Seeing young people play football and get a little salary at the end of the month, seeing them play cricket and
Yes.
get a little salary at the end of the month,
Yes.
seeing people selected to be in a high performance center that ensures that they make above 1,200, 1,500 every month for just participating and honing on skill is something that I will always forever be proud of. Sports in this nation can never, ever be the same again. Ever.
Right. And of course, we're always giving thanks, great gratitude to our very own Julian Alfred, who literally broke the mold and, of course, set high standards for everyone in St. Lucia. And I know, well, we're quite happy that this happened. Okay, tell us, before I continue, tell us how, I know you've been asked that question many times, but for us here at the Red Table, tell us how this has affected you as far as during your tenure that we had so much big influence, and so we had credibility, and we had such greatness coming from St. Lucia during the your tenure, and of course, Julian Alfred in the Olympics, and everyone else, our swimmers. So tell us about that.
Well, first of all, I always want to give credit where credit is due. I mean, Julian Alfred really worked hard from a tender age to put herself where she is right now. What we always say that is needed is a government that will support the athlete. And from day one, any PS that has worked with me would tell you my philosophy is the athlete first. Too often we had individuals coming in as administrators, as persons who were, coaches, technical staff, officials, wanting to inject themselves into athletes' careers and hard work. But this government definitely endeavored to ensure that we supported Julian Alfred as much as possible during her journey. The St. Lucia Labour Party is on record as the government and the Sean Edward who ensured that she went into Jamaica and that she was supported while she was there. Despite the fact that that support was removed, when I came back in, we ensured that we had a comprehensive approach to providing the transition for Julian Alfred from being a collegiate athlete to being a professional athlete. We put in our national budget $1 million for that year, where she had no other job but to train and to do well. We took care of her physiotherapy, her mental training. We took care of her fees, her living expenses for that entire year. Lo and behold, the following year, she is winning gold. I mean, and silver. So, I mean, it feels good as the minister who sits as the minister of youth and sports during those accomplishments. And of course, we are looking forward to so much more of this coming out of St. Lucia. We have a thriving boxing program where we now have
See?
five of our young boxers, most from Viewfort. They will be heading over to Guadeloupe for a comprehensive program of development. And so we continue to do what we need to do in this nation.
Okay, wonderful. So tell us about your plans for your constituency. If I'm not sure how should I say that, if when you win, if Saint Lucia believes that you are eligible to continue, what are the plans that you have for your constituency of Grizzly?
Okay, when I return as MP for Grosley, when I return as MP, the Solution Labour Party has been the government that has taken care of the elderly.
Mm-hmm.
And we are going to continue to do just that in my constituency of Grosley. We are the government that has raised the minimum pension earning of the elderly people to $500. And the Prime Minister has committed to making it even more in our second term. We are the government that has ensured that we really have a ministry for elderly affairs. That said a lot in terms of just the composition of our ministry of health and wellness, and elderly affairs. And of course, we've shown that we are working on the health infrastructure for those individuals that are suffering from different ailments. In Grosley, we are going to establish in my second term, the daycare for the elderly. And we plan to do that both Grosley, meaning a daycare for the elderly to pretty much see after the affairs of the individuals living in Grosley North, which is Grosley Town, all the way
Mm-hmm.
to Monjuro and beyond, and one in the south, which is Grand Riviere. As you know, the population of Grosley is huge, and we have a situation where our elder care program would not be sufficient. So this would be something that we'll be using to augment the efforts of the Ministry of Equity in providing that level of care to our elderly people. That is one thing that I definitely want to establish. The development of the Grosley waterfront, the further development of the Grosley waterfront, because we have the beach park, is another program that I intend to embark on almost immediately. We have to develop that waterfront to sort of expand the Grosley Friday night into Bay Street and to continue to have that flavor being afforded to people in and around the constituency in St. Lucia and, of course, the rest of the world. We've done a lot of work in our sporting infrastructure for Grozile. We've done a lot in our youth development thrust for Grozile. But we know that Grozile, as a constituency, deserves a better road network from Castries to Grozile. And we've already seen that this government have signed the loan agreement for the facilitation of the Jubilant Highway, 4-lane highway all the way Castries, Shaw Castries, and we look forward to finishing that within the first 2 years of our administration. We've done a lot of work on the Vesikwi Road, the Norbe Vesikwi, the traffic, the alternative use of this road for traffic going up north and coming from north. And so I look forward to that being accomplished. Grizzly Credit Union is another ambition that we've started
Wow.
during this term, and we're hoping that it bears fruit during our second term.
Oh, this one is very interesting. This one is very interesting. And of course, our listeners would like to
Yeah.
apologize for the quality of the audio. We have some interruptions, but you know how we do live streaming. We try to get the quality as best we can for you. But Minister Kazimi, tell us finally what is the philosophy of the St. Lucia Party that you would like the public to sit and think about at this point?
Bread, freedom, and justice. And we've definitely embodied that. We are trying our best. I think this is a government that has done so much for the poor of St. Lucia and the indigent of St. Lucia. I mean, we have tried so hard to give all the incentives that we can to people that are living in poverty to get out. We've established a minimum wage for our workers. I don't think there's any other government that has given more incentive for workers in terms of a minimum wage being established finally in our great nation. Bonuses at the end of the year for our workers in the civil service, and we've given so many tax concessions to our businesses to ensure that they can pass it on to workers and, of course, to consumers. This is a government that has ensured that at every juncture we ensure that we help people, even in terms of the removal of VAT on 70 items for our people, 70 essential items VAT free from this government's activities. So definitely we've tried our best to ensure that we give our people bread freedom, in terms of the moving around this country, being able to really enjoy what it is to be St. Lucia, not having to suffer through some of the programs that were taken away from them to really enjoy their patrimony. We are the government that will bring back a jazz festival that we know for sure our people enjoyed and consumed very well. We are the government that reinstated the distress fund and of course the subvention to the National Trust, just so that our people can really enjoy what it means to be St. Lucian and to do that in a very, very, very passionate way. So justice, our justice system, we've worked so feverishly as a government over the last 4 years. We have started the work on the halls of justice. We know all the work we've done with the establishment of the Grocery Northern Divisional Headquarters that I spoke of earlier. And we are the government that continue to give the police the equipment that is needed, bulletproof vests, ammunition, vehicles, jet skis on our waters. And of course,
And
we've ensured that we've worked hard towards our legal and justice system being something that is thriving for our people.
our fire service as well.
Oh yes, our fire service. I mean, ancillary would tell you the work being done. I did a tour of the Grosley Police Station with the Minister of Justice. Well, recently, and we've seen the improvements and a lot to be improved upon. But recently, a government that has tried our best.
Okay, so basically, when Mr. Casimir, you're saying that that the Saint Lucia Labour Party needs some more time to continue the work, and of course, to bring on some new projects as well.
Absolutely. Rome was not built in a day,
Exactly.
neither was St. Lucia.
Mm-hmm.
But if you see what we've done, I mean, St. Lucia is the envy of the rest of the OACS and the Caribbean. If you go to any sports ministers conference, they would tell you, they would ask you, what is going on in St. Lucia? They would be like, oh my God, they love the alternative sport. They come down, they ask for paper in terms of how they can execute it. How did you ensure that you do a youth economy? And
Mm-hmm.
they marvel, absolutely marvel at the progress and the initiatives taken by this government to just develop this country. And I mean, if you look at the tourism sector right now in Grozile, we have free hotels being built in Grozile, getting ready for completion. I mean, we just opened Secrets a few months ago, and we have three more
Mm-hmm.
on the way. I mean, the work being done in terms of the infrastructure of this nation, fortifying our infrastructure, I mean, it's unparalleled. So, I mean, we know that we've seen the progress in St. Lucia. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that we are going to form the government again. But sometimes when you hear some of the machinations, it's a lot of personal desires, a lot
Mm-hmm.
of desires to have things, in their pockets. And,
Mm-hmm.
you hear those different conversations about individual people that didn't get the individual things. But we know nationally as a government, the function of the St. Lucia Labour Party under Philip J. Pierre and the development we've seen is unparalleled.
Okay. So, Minister Kazime, final words about what do you have to say to the youth? And I know the Senatorial Labour Party has been targeting the youth from 18, can I say between 18 and 25? Those persons who definitely, well, we have large numbers as far as our youth is concerned, and we need the youth to come out to vote and, make their voice be heard. Well, what do you have to say to the youth?
Well, young people need to understand that what they see happening now is directed at them. The
Mm-hmm.
St. Lucia we are building is directed at them and their children and their children's children. It is
Mm-hmm.
so important for them to understand that we need to continue with what we are doing. We've seen before an opposition that came into government and disbanded so many initiatives that could have helped our people. I will never forget the one laptop per child program that was discontinued under the previous administration. That tells you that if you can take away laptops from our young people, what would you not take away from them? You just cannot risk going back. There's just too much at stake. There's just too much
Mm-hmm.
that could be taken away and destroyed. And that's that stop mentality. We need young people to go to the polls, not just enjoy all the festivities and
Mm-hmm.
enjoy the motorcades and
Yes.
all the activities, whistle stops. We need them to get up on election day, go out to vote, and then mobilize other young people to come out and vote because your future young people depends on it. We had a government that is ensuring that we have free elementary education. So we're looking at from cradle to the grave development in this nation. And I can tell you, you've been 60% of our great nation's population. They
Mm-hmm.
are the ones who will decide the election going forward. And I'm very, very confident that they will ensure that they keep the St. Lucia Labour Party in government to continue the good work.
Wonderful. Okay, so we've been listening to Minister Kenson Kazime, who is responsible for youth development and sports in St. Lucia, and of course, going up for the second time for the constituency of Grozley, and of course, telling us that there will be a Grozley Credit Union. There will be extended care for the elderly, larger space for Grozley Friday night, hotels coming up, which means more jobs, more revenue, more tourism income coming into the island. And of course, we're looking forward to so much more. So, Minister Kazime, I know like I asked Minister Edward yesterday, we know that you might not necessarily be a Minister of Youth Development and Sports again, but and he said that whatever ministry that the Prime Minister gives him, he will do his best. So what say you? Yes, hello.
I would really love to have that
Can
ministry.
you please repeat because we lost you for a little bit?
Yes. I would really love to have 8 years as a minister of youth development and sport. I will, I will admit that to really continue some of the good work that we've done in terms of,
Mm-hmm.
completing or renovating George Odom Stadium, completing the National Convention Center, and some of the infrastructure that we've put in place and the programs to see it through. But the Prime Minister is an absolute genius. He knows what he wants to do and how he wants to execute it. So whatever decision he makes after we've won this second term, I would happily acquiesce to
Hello.
yes.
Okay. All right.
Lost me
So
again.
yes, yeah, we lost the last part. We lost the last part.
Yeah, so I would definitely be more than happy because of the genius that is Philip J. Pierre as the Minister of Finance and Prime Minister. I would acquiesce to any of his demands placed on me in terms of serving the people.
Okay. All right, so just a little bit of interruption on the live stream, but thank you so much, Minister Kenson Kazimi, current Minister for Youth Development and Sports and Parliamentary Representative for the Grosley constituency. Um, Thank you so much for visiting the Red Table today virtually. And of course, this has been a very insightful discussion. And I wish you the best on December 1st. And of course, hope that the constituency of Grizzly, um, gives you that chance to continue your great work. So, this has been the Red Table for today, Tuesday, the 18th of November, 2025. I'm your host, Ika Furgas. Thank you so much for listening. Join me again tomorrow morning, 7:30, 7:40, for another one-on-one at the Red Table. My guest today, a Minister for Youth Development and Sports, Minister Kenson Kazimi.